Let me guess. You are here for this, right? A magic review about The Atomic Deck by Craig Petty, right? But wait a second. What you don't know is this is more of a magic review plus. This is a frequently asked questions session, okay? There's been a whole lot of reviews going on out there. A lot of information, a little bit of misinformation. And I really took my time with this trick, this review, because I didn't want to do it too early. I wanted to really dissect everything and give you all the details and also see all these questions and answers popping up. And now I have all the information I think you're looking for, along with some extra information I don't think anyone's talked about. So get ready. Let's do this now. A little frequently asked questions session all about the Atomic Deck. And maybe you're here, you stumbled on the video, you don't know what this is yet. So let me break it down in about 30 seconds, okay? What is the Atomic Deck? The Atomic Deck is based on the plot that was made very popular by David Berglas, known as the any card at any number. Put a deck of cards on the table in the box, it's on the table there. Someone names a card, someone names a number. You pick up the box, take out the deck and deal down to that number, and their card is at that number. This is Craig Petty's take on this legendary effect that is as streamlined as you can get. There are a couple little extra things that are going on here. I'm going to tell you all about that in just a moment, but that's what this is. So if you are looking for a way to any card at any number, super streamlined, not hard to do, that's what this is. And now I'm going to give you all the details you've been waiting for. So frequently asked question number one, do you have to use a phone? The simple answer is yes. Yes, you do. But I'm going to break down the different ways that it's used and also some ways coming that you may not know about. Number one is using their phone. And the beautiful thing about this is you have them think of the card, think of the number, and without them ever telling you any of that information, either one of those, they go to a website, unistats.org. It was a website created to look like a statistics-based website. And there's a drop down for the card, there's a drop down for the number, and it will give you the probability of what the chances are of that card ending up at that number. And that percentage, when someone tells you what the percentage is, you now know what to do with the deck that's on the table, which is brilliant. It's giving you all this information that's going on behind the scenes like that, which is, it's crazy. So that's version number one. And keep that in mind again, they never told you the name of the card. They just tell you the number because you have to know that much. The other way to do it, the way I prefer to do it, is using the Notes app. The Notes app is a web-based app that you have on your phone. It does work for Android or iOS. And this is the Notes app. So they name a card, you just jot it down in your notes. Someone names a number, jot it down underneath that. And now the app covertly tells you what to do with the Atomic Deck that's on the table to get the card at that number. It's like that quick. So that's my preferred way to do it. And if you're doing this for multiple people, like a group, you can have multiple cards, multiple numbers named, make a little list, and get it down to just one of the cards and one of the numbers and go forward. There is a third way that's not really been talked about much. It's basically an input method on your own phone that you have to do not in front of them, but like toward yourself. I think Lloyd Barnes in the instructional talks about you kind of teeing this up where you're gonna have someone record you doing the trick. So you take the phone, you supposedly you're going to open up the camera app, and when they're naming the information, you're entering it in, tells you what to do, and then you swipe over and you're back to your camera, you hand it to them, and now they're recording you doing the trick. So it's another way to do it. Not my preferred way. I like the Notes app, but those are the ways that they've got you doing it here. I want to say before I give you this little bonus information, the phone is not there to muddy up the effect. It's there to actually do the opposite. It's there to streamline it. Because there's some crazy math going on behind the scenes to tell you how to get the card to the number. And it's given to you instantly, which is crazy. So that way you don't have to memorize anything. You don't have to do any math on the spot. And it just makes things very easy to do when it comes to knowing the information, okay? The other ways that I've heard about that are being worked on, and I don't have any ETAs on these things, any timelines, is one, voice recognition. Craig mentioned on one of the forums that Joshua Riley, the developer that he's working with, is working on a way to do this where the phone is on the table. By you saying some keywords, the phone will then be able to tell you covertly again what to do with the deck when you pick it up and start dealing, which is cool. And the other thing I heard that they're working on is some Peaksmith integration to where now you can basically have the information that you need to know secretly sent to you on your Peaksmith device. So those are some exciting updates that I'm looking forward to myself. So The big question is about the phone. Yes, it is needed. It is necessary, and it makes your life a lot easier, trust me, than having to do all this other stuff. So that is big question number one that I hope I answered for you here. Big question number two is all about rough and smooth, which we'll refer to as RNS going forward, okay? Is there RNS used for the effect? No and yes. No and yes. So is traditional RNS used? No. Is there a version of it that helps to make the trick possible? Yes. So the deck that you're getting with the atomic deck is printed in such a way that there's like a coating on it when it's printed and it goes in the box and sealed that works similarly to the traditional RNS. But the really cool thing about it is, according to Craig and the team, this new coding system that they've stumbled on should last you the life of the deck, which you cannot say for traditional RNS use. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right? So that's pretty damn cool that they found a way to get it done in the printing. So it's already done, comes ready to go in the deck, and it is ready right out of the box. To kind of go along with that is frequently asked question number three, which is it a bicycle deck of cards? You might have seen the videos online. It doesn't look like a bicycle deck. So the answer is no, it's not a bicycle deck of cards. Why the deck? Why did they choose to use the deck that they did? The simple answer is cost. Simple answer is money. Not for how much they could make, but how much the trick would have to cost. According to the tutorial that I watched, to get this type of deck manufactured in like a bicycle rider back or something similar would have cost you closer to $100 than the $50 price that it is now. So trim the price down while also keeping the quality, mind you. And something else to keep in mind, this Copperhead playing cards, this deck, actually exists. This is not just a deck that was created and designed just for this single trick. These decks do exist in the real world from Legends Playing Card Company. So while it's not exactly the type of deck you're used to seeing, they do exist out there and are available as regular cards too. So that's the reason why they decided to go with that type of deck as opposed to something else. I also wanted to talk to you about some of the other things people are saying about, oh, well, this doesn't work every time. Okay, there's like a 10% chance that if they name this card and this number that it just won't work. A couple points, hear me out here. Number one is the app tells you that automatically, so that's cool. But if you're doing this for a group of people, when you're entering in each card and each number, it'll tell you whether that card and number will work. So you can keep note of that. So when you get this list, you can have the person that named the card and number that won't work, you can have them pick the one that will, okay? Or you can have them narrow it down to one of those other ones that works, okay? If you're doing this solo for someone else, one-on-one, name a card, name a number. If you know it's not the right number, let's make this really random. Think of a different number, mix it up. Think of a different number. You got it? That way you can tell them, presentation, now you're thinking of a number you didn't even know you were going to think of. And it's just a thing where you just flow and you just go with it. You know, when you're not being, why run when you're not being chased? Just say it and go with it. Big deal, right? Because you're still able to pick the deck up and just go right into the effect, which is really cool. So that's an important note, that there is a small percent that it won't work every single time with the card. Like let's say they name 8 of clubs and 1. You have a 1%, you don't have a 1%, you have like a 0.0001% chance of that happening, right? So there will be instances where you will need to have them change the number, but that's all up to the presentational angle. And trust me, friends, they go over a whole lot of stuff on the instructional to help you with situations like that. You're not stuck. There are ways for you to continue working, but I think it would be a disservice for me to sit here and not tell you about that, because it is something that is part of this trick that I think that you should know about. So does it change my opinion about the trick? No, because it still is as direct as you can get when you do have the information you need that does work. Also, with that being said, the box that you get, and the reason I'm not showing you the box and holding it up, we are sold out at this moment. We have more arriving today at our warehouse, so I'd be showing you the box. I want to let you know the box on the bottom where the barcode is also has a couple of codes to tell you some of the information, what it translates to for you to know when you pick up the deck and start dealing. So when you get the percentage and it's telling you what to do, there are a couple of little keys, little cribs, little crib on the bottom there to tell you how to pick up the deck and how to start dealing it to make the trick work. So again, they've taken out all the memory work. It's literally staring you right in the face on the little barcode on the bottom of the box. Another big question is, how hard is this to do? Is this easy? I think it's a better question. It is easy. The deck, the way that it's made, the way that the math is happening and getting you the info you need, it makes everything as straightforward and as easy as possible. You really just need to be able to know how to deal cards on the table to make the trick happen. So it's like as direct and as easy as possible. The cards themselves, just the way that you deal them, makes this work. And when you start messing with it, you're gonna sit there and start shaking your head like, how in the hell is this working? It is a really crazy system in play here that you as a magician, all you have to do is pick up the damn cards, take them out of the box, deal down, and you're done. It's just beautiful. Another one of the popular questions I see is, how easy is this to do? The good news is the deck of cards, the cards themselves, basically do the work for you. You just have to know how to deal the cards. I think we're all pretty good at that. It might take a little bit of getting used to the exact way that you're dealing the cards, but that's the hardest part of the trick, really, because the math is happening by itself, happens for you again, and it gives you the information to just pick up the cards and start dealing, which is pretty damn cool if you think about it. Also want to let you know about the cards themselves. They are marked in two different ways, value and the number. The number is there because there's a certain number of cards in the deck, obviously, and this lets you know what that order is because the deck cannot be shuffled. It needs to be in this certain order to perform the effect. So that's something I know a lot of people are curious about too. Can people shuffle it? No, they can't. Now you can pick up the deck, maybe do some false cuts and whatever else you want to do to keep the deck in order, but someone else cannot pick it up and shuffle it. So in order for you to perform the effect, they need to be in that order, meaning if they do end up out of order, if you perform the effect and you're not going to reset it in front of them, you can just pick it up later and reset it very quickly. In those markings on the back, the numbers tell you where the cards need to go. It makes it very easy to reset if things do kind of get misplaced. I will say one other thing that I was not typically sold on with the original version of this, which Atomic Deck is its own thing, but the Quantum Deck was similar principle here with the blank deck, where having people check out the cards. My only real concern about the Quantum Deck was that magicians really couldn't examine the deck, in my opinion. You know, an RNS deck, I think most magicians would know. With this deck, can it be examined? I would say you can hand this out to regular people. They can check it out. A quick look, they're not going to find anything. Magicians, I don't know now because Copperhead playing cards weren't like mainstream before. So if they see the Copperhead deck, they might already know that it's not a regular deck, you know what I'm saying? And in one of the videos we have, Mark Waddington did look at them quickly and just put them down and just didn't seem to care. So could you hand this out to regular people and have them examine it? Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. They're just playing cards. And what are they really looking for at the end of the day? And the way that this is designed, there's really nothing for them to find. So yeah, that's just another note about the examinability of the deck. It's more for laymen, maybe if you really wanted magicians to do it, but I don't really see the point of that to begin with. But there you go. The other thing about this deck of cards is the cards are more of a plasticky type of feel than a kind of like the regular paper stock that you get from Bicycle. That doesn't really make too much of a difference because this deck is meant just for this trick. You're not going to use this deck to do your regular moves, your DLs, your passes, any crazy moves or anything like that. So I did want to let you know that the cards themselves are more of a plasticky feel, but they work fine for this trick, and that's what they're meant for. So there you go. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to tell you about. There's a lot of bonus information on the instructional. The main instructional part is 2 hours. There's some extra bonus stuff from Peter Turner, but I think a lot of you will be interested in. There's Lloyd Barnes going over how to get the web-based app on your phone. It takes like 30 seconds, not a big deal. So that's included on there. A handful of live presentations of Craig doing this. And one other thing I should mention is you can perform this both on a table and in someone's hand. So not hand, but hands. They're going to need to do like this. So you can be dealing the cards into someone's hands if you want to do it that way too. So that was another question I don't know if I've seen asked a lot, but for me as a worker, I think it's relevant that even if you don't have a table to work with and deal the cards on, you can still do the trick if you can just have someone hold their hands out. You can just deal the cards into their hand. And I think the last question I'm going to answer here is the effect the exact same every time? No, it's not. It can vary. There is one version of it that has a more of a chance of happening the same way every time. But if you look at the live performances on our product page, there's a live performance to Mark Waddington, a magician, that Craig does the trick twice. You will see the way he does it one time, and then he does something a little different the second time. But there's really only 4 different ways that it would be happening in real time, where you're picking up the deck and dealing, but you're not having to take cards and move them around or anything like that. Before you start dealing, no matter what happens, you're picking up the deck and you just start dealing. It just depends on if you're dealing from the top of the deck or from the face of the deck, but the outcome is the same. You just start dealing and that card ends up appearing at that number. So my friends, I've done my best to break down those details for you on the Atomic Deck. At the end of the day, you know, as a professional magician living in Las Vegas, you're probably asking yourself, Luke, is this worth it? I think it is. I think it is. Why? Because think about how impossible that sounds again. They name a card, they name a number, and it's at that number. And all you have to do is deal down. If that's really what you want to do, this will do the trick. Craig says he uses this on stage, like stand-up performances as well, getting a lot of different people to name cards and numbers. If you're doing close-up stuff, this might be something you do as like an extra thing, you know, for a special group, because it really is a showpiece, and I think that's important to note. This is not just meant to be like another trick in your arsenal. This is like a really strong, memorable piece of magic, which is why it's been such a classic for magicians, right? Because it's so impossible. And remember that for all of the legend that's been with the Burgos effect over the years, to actually have a version you can hold in your hands and do for $50, I think is more than fair. So that is it here. If you have any other questions, post them below. There may be some glaringly obvious stuff I missed, my bad, but those are the popular questions I wanted to answer here. And again, this is not the hardest thing in the world to do. So if you're kind of fearful about that, don't be. So if you want to pick yours up, we do have them at the All Things Magic shop. Check us out. We've got the link below this video as well. Thank you for coming up and checking out this video and sitting with me for a few minutes. I hope this did help. If it did, drop me a like on this video. Also, if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the bell. We do go live on Tuesday nights, 8:30 Eastern time on our YouTube channel and Facebook page. We'd love to see you there. Do a lot of giveaways and fun stuff. So that's going to wrap up this video all about the Atomic Deck. As always, I will be back soon for more reviews and live streams and other videos, bringing you our top 3 each week. So I will see you all in the next video. Thank you, as always, for your support. And if you're looking for the ultimate, the Holy Grail, any card at any number, maybe this is it. I don't know. We're not done creating stuff, but at the moment, this is the one that'll let you do what you want to do, okay? All right, friends, I will see you very soon in the next video. See ya.